talk about the VOD and the silver screen. Kevin and Tom and Joe know all there is to know, from masterpieces to deep fried tacos. And if the movie sucks, you might hear them say, there's no telling where the guys will take you. Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, cause we already warned you. Better watch out, it's gonna ruin the plot. Real spoilers. Real spoilers. Real spoilers.
Broadcasting from the lush but not lavish studios located in the basement of the O'Keefe Institute for Advanced Film Snarkitude, this is Real Spoilers, episode 773.
May I?
Iron Claw.
Oh, you mothers.
Wait, is that not what we're doing?
I actually got one.
What's that?
Pirates of the Aquarium.
Oh, man.
I was going to go with Aquaman, The Last Kingdom.
Yeah, thank God.
Thank
But this
God.
movie is just a Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yeah.
Oh, all these dead guys have come back and we have to fight them.
Yeah.
It's literally the plot of
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's the plot of all kinds of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like, we'll get into it.
Yeah, this is bad.
Right.
So let's go around the table and everyone can introduce themselves.
This is Joe.
This is Kevin.
And this is Tom. Before we dig in, shameless plugs. Don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, iHeart, TuneIn. Wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. Super helpful. Greatly appreciated. Makes a wonderful Christmas present
It does.
for your fourth favorite
That's
podcast.
right. Be real nice.
You can also find us on the Facebook at facebook.com/Real Spoilers. While you're there, like the page, join the group. It's called the League of Show Sharers because we're hoping you will share an episode. I forgot to pull the League of Show Sharers, so I was doing this on the fly, just looking at the social media. So here we go. Librarian Cynthia, scroll. Jason McLean, Richard Krotzer, Gus Butisi, no relation.
None whatsoever.
You'll find out when you do a 23andMe.
That's right.
Julian Jordan, Chris Sanders, Tammy Lynn Powers Betts, Glenn Cougar Mellenbrewer, Brendan McGuckin, Chris Magic Man, Tom Dowdy, Travis Tewitt, Chris Valls, Ralph Tribble, Gabriel Lugo, Heather Sachs, Dissect That Film, Taylor Ward, Brent Smith, and that seems to be all of it. Also, Christopher Rex says he's been sharing it, hasn't showed up, which I blame Mark Zuckerberg for. So,
I'm glad you saw that because I was
Yes.
about to. Yeah.
And then moving over to the artist formerly known as Twitter, we have David Rojas, Cinema Recall, Spoiler Piece Theater, James Install, Heather Sachs, sneaks through twice when I can do this, when I spend time on this. I'll weed that out.
Yeah,
Just
right,
give
right,
one,
right.
But she gets two this week, so well done. Invasion of the Remake, Feelin' Film, Geek to Me Radio, Binge Movies, Ryan Terry, Matt Naglia, Colby Mack, Ronnie Castle, again, gets a second one. It's now we will now term the Heather Sachs role.
Castle
Mike,
Doctrine.
Yes. Mike, and Oscar, and In Session Film. Joe claims to have shared
I
it, but
did.
I don't, it's not
Oh,
showing
I
up.
shared it on Twitter.
Yeah, that's what I'm on.
Don't believe his lies.
I did.
Don't
I
believe
did
his lies.
Did you
liked it.
did you unfollow me on Twitter?
No,
Is that why I'm not saying it?
never.
It's not. It's
He
not
was
on
getting
here.
sick of your pro-Trump rhetoric.
That makes sense. He can't handle the truth.
Yeah, that's
Social.
Truth social.
Yeah. So thank you very much to everyone who shared an episode. And don't forget we have a Patreon, patreon.com/Real Spoilers, where for $5 a month, you get all sorts of bonus content, and we like you extra. And then also you can watch all of these episodes over on YouTube at youtube.com/ampersand Real Spoilers.
Yeah.
And
So-
thank you for watching Wonka. I guess they got our pleas.
Yeah.
In one day, it got over 100 views. So
That's great.
Yeah.
Which I don't know that Dream Scenario is over the 100 view in 2 weeks.
Well, it's a movie that probably made about $4.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
it hit streaming. It just hit streaming.
Oh,
I think,
did it?
yesterday? So maybe that'll
check it out.
show
It's
some
fun.
stuff. It's a good movie. Yeah. So anyway, there's all that. Let's dig in.
Has there ever been, I cannot think of a franchise, and I mean like DC as a whole, that has been such a colossal blunder
Oh, they
from
might
the
take the
second
cake.
from the second movie. Like I can forgive Man of Steel because they were trying something,
Right.
and then they just leaned into it, and
Yeah.
it's just been with the exception of Wonder Woman.
They
and
got
Shazam.
scared and they went Batman. We have to Batman everything.
Yeah.
I cannot believe, and this is
This is
It's
horrendous.
like they have gone out of their way to take all the wrong lessons from their successes.
Yes.
And Aquaman 1 is fun.
It's fun. I
That's a
like
fun
when
movie.
when I on the DCEU, which I do often, I always say there are good movies in there.
Yeah.
Aquaman, the first Shazam movie, the first Wonder Woman movie, like
The second
little
Suicide
little
Squad.
bit of a pattern
Yeah.
here, though, isn't there? Like the ones that we thought were good, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Shazam. Look at their sequels.
right.
Terrible.
Every single one of them. Horrible.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And this movie is so disjointed and Frankenstein in the editing
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
From the first scene, the way they cut back and forth and are trying to tell this disjointed story and clearly change the direction of what they were doing. And then they're like, well, I'm at home and I'm married with my kid. I don't know where my wife is. And then all of a sudden, oh, she pops in. There she is in this scene.
Man,
oh,
you-
but they
you
didn't
can
get her for the next scene.
You can tell they tried to cut around her as much
It's
as they could.
brutal.
It's
Yeah.
bizarre. And
It's also weird how much screen time she has
Yeah.
versus how few lines she has.
because I bet you she was in a ton of the second
I bet you
movie.
she was the
She
second
was.
lead.
and
Yeah.
they really just said, oh, we have to have some tissue to connect, because people are going to ask, like, if she didn't die off, which I guess I don't know why not just kill her, but but if they don't kill her off, then it's like, well, where is she? So it's like they just peppered her in, like, there she is.
I think they were trying to walk that line between, because that whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and I honestly followed none of it. So like
it was a mess.
I
It was
really,
just a circus.
although we interviewed his doctor on the clip out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dr. David Kipper. So anyway, so I really don't know who's to blame. So
but he was fired. WB fired him from the terrible Fantastic Beasts
Yep.
series,
Yep.
but still he was fired. But she was the one found guilty.
yeah.
She
she's
well,
in
she
this
wasn't found.
movie.
She was found liable. I don't think she's found guilty. There's a different
It wasn't a criminal.
It wasn't a criminal. It
Okay,
wasn't a criminal.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry.
So-
she had to pay, ordered to pay him
Yes.
$5 million or
Yes.
whatever. But,
But
it's like,
he got fired before a verdict came in.
which is even that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying though.
But
Like he
so
got
what
fired.
but I think that's where I'm going, is that like I think like nobody really knows what to do with these two, and so they didn't feel like confident enough. They felt like if they left her in the movie, they were going to they were going to deal with a lot of backlash. If they kicked her out of the movie, they were going to deal with a lot of backlash. So they did this kind of interim thing to where like she's still there, so you can't complain about that, but she's barely there, so like
it just
Nah.
feels
Right.
so weird to even see her show up because she's such a little part of the plot.
Right.
He spends, how many reshoots were him and his dad slowly talking over
lot.
over a product placement of Guinness?
Yeah, right.
This has to be one of the most boring superhero movies of all time. It is so slow and boring with them stretching it out, doing nothing.
And,
Yeah.
and Momoa just felt like he was phoning it.
Oh,
in.
he's horrible
Like
in
he's
this movie.
so bad in this, and like I didn't like what he did in the last Fast and Furious movie, but I will not accuse him of phoning it in.
It was something,
Yeah,
right?
it was
He
something.
was doing
yeah.
something.
This like literally felt like they had handed him his page of dialogue the second before he started filming.
Everything he does, he just yells, and it's horrible. Get away from my wife! It's
I didn't.
so bad.
I didn't
It was
like that.
so
That scene
cheesy.
doesn't bother me as much because
Oh.
it's like he's
But it's but like
we
it's
we
not the scene,
literally
it's
got
horrible.
a slow motion tight close up of a screamed no.
Yeah.
Like no.
Right,
Like,
right. Literally, no.
like any screenwriting 101 class is going to be like red pen.
Yeah.
Take it
no,
out.
You are not doing that.
Take it out. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's this movie. It wanted to be Guardians so bad.
Well, it clearly seems that so this movie was supposed to come out a year ago. It was
Yes.
finished and set for release in 2022, and they shelved it for a year. It went through 3 rounds of reshoots. The last reshoots, I think, were 1 to take away things that would allude to this franchise continuing.
Well, I was saying
Yeah.
there was supposed to be Michael Keaton was supposed to be in this
in the first one.
in the right
In
and
the
then,
Walter Hamada version, before he got fired, it was Michael Keaton. They wanted him to be the through line.
Right.
Then
it was Affleck.
The people came in and put Affleck in.
Right.
And said, oh, well, we want to give people their, DCEU is all Affleck. It's Snyder, Batfleck. That's,
right.
Their thing. And then the third round was James Gunn and Peter Safran coming in and going, no.
We want to CGI Adam West.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
We are
right.
not doing anything that alludes to the Snyderverse continuing, the DC universe continuing, but also some of the dialogue to me seems exactly like that scene at the end of Shazam 2, faux James Gunn.
Yeah.
There are so many scenes where the humor, like peeing in his mouth and stuff, like
God, that
three
was
times.
that was awful.
the humor to me was like, oh, we're trying to be edgy and funny, but it's horrible.
And then again, DC with the CGI baby. Like that CGI
Was it a
baby.
CGI
Oh
baby?
my
I thought
God!
I didn't
yes.
notice it.
Oh
I didn't notice that. I thought the baby looked okay.
Yeah.
no,
Looked
I
real
thought
to
it
me.
looked terrible.
Oh,
But
you just want that American Sniper baby.
just give me a fake baby.
No, I'll take the CGI baby over the
plastic baby?
Over the plastic baby.
That was so bad.
That was so bad. That was like, I was like, is he having a mental breakdown? Does he think that that's a baby? Is that what's
Because
going
we all
on?
know it's not a baby.
That would be great, really, though. If at the end of that movie, it's like they gave him a fake baby, and like there's a whole like, he's like living in a Truman
They
show.
do a Shutter Island.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
And the rest of the movie plays out about him pretending to live this.
Right.
But yeah, this movie is so Frankenstein. Again, it's so cut and chopped, and the tone of it is so weird. The story is stretched so thin of what the motivation is for the villain. And again, and like it wants to be Lord of the Rings. It feels like with all those monsters, feels like
It wants to be 48 hours.
Oh, it's definitely a buddy cop.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And James Wan said that the first movie was supposed to be Romancing the Stone, and the second movie was supposed to be a buddy cop movie. I can't remember.
Wait. Who would have been the second character in Romancing the Stone? Amber Heard?
Yeah.
But why would it be okay? But they're married. Like Romancing the Stone is like
He's like, you can't have romance with your wife.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I think
Well,
things
no, like,
are
they don't
coming
get
into
along.
focus for us, Joe.
They're not married in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
They become married.
No,
They're like bitching the whole time.
in what movie?
In Aquaman.
Aquaman.
They don't start off
right.
married.
I'm sorry. You mean the first Aquaman?
What other
Well, that's why I
Aquaman?
said-
is
I
there?
thought you meant in the first cut of Aquaman 2.
Oh,
No,
gotcha.
no,
okay.
I got you.
No, the first
Okay,
movie was
I'm
supposed
with
to be
you.
Romancing the Stone, and
Okay.
the second one, James Wan says, I really didn't have Amber Heard in mind as being a part of it because I wanted it to be a buddy cop movie,
Okay.
which was supposed to be him and Patrick Wilson, which I thought were some of the better parts of an
So
awful movie.
The Patrick Wilson parts were better.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Patrick Wilson is so damn good.
Patrick
He is.
Wilson,
ya.
whatever,
I'm telling ya.
like whatever he got paid, even though this movie will probably tank, he should
Triple
get a
it.
bonus.
Yep.
Triple it,
because
yes.
like
that running thing. The
Yeah.
first time I saw him, I was like, why is he running like
The
that?
eating the bug, anything. Everything he does is the straight man to Jason Momoa's terrible,
Right.
zany, in your face, annoying, like you want to punch that guy.
yeah,
Right,
his
right.
whole confused at the surface world stuff was the highlight of the film.
He's great.
I
And
even like even his where he says like, you don't want to do this, and he was like, no.
Yeah.
And Mo was like, I don't want to do this at all, and he was just like, oh. And so I do like the fact that he realized that Momoa, like Aquaman, wasn't coming for the throne.
Yeah.
He just happened to be there, and
Right.
So, but
oh God, can we talk? What is that Randall Park? What was that
He
whole
was
thing?
bad.
he
and
was
he's
in the-
great,
he
but
was
he
in the first
bad.
movie.
But it's the script is terrible.
Right.
Like there's no doubt. Like there's good actors in
Okay,
a bad movie.
are they underwater or are they not underwater?
I don't know.
Like,
well, the
I think they're
hair,
supposed to be.
no. Like they would like in the final scene when they go the set piece when they go to Necros, which is the Lost Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
the
Oh, you
seventh
remember
king-
names of
The
things? Good
seventh
Lord.
kingdom of Atlantis,
Uh-huh.
which Atlantis is famously underwater.
Yeah.
And Randall Park is running around the whole damn time. He doesn't have anything on his head.
Oh yeah, it's like they're
There's flames.
Yep.
There's flames.
well they're in a
and-
volcano in that.
But they're
No,
underwater.
that's the first part.
No, underwater. He's in a scuba suit and
Not when they go to Necros. He is not wearing a thing. There are flames because I remember Crystal went and saw it with me. God love her. And I was just like, are they underwater? Are they not underwater? And she's like, I have no idea. And then when they leave Necros, you see them come up from water,
Yes.
and then they stand on an iceberg with the magic fish baby.
Right.
Oh, and there was no cold air coming out of their breath.
None.
No.
First of all, the baby. I mean, I know the baby can talk to fish. Spoilers. If you're never gonna see this movie, but okay, that's fine. He has that power, but like none of them are cold. Just because you can be underwater, are you
Right.
immune to cold?
You would be
It's
even more cold
freezing.
because you're wet.
Well, I think that the Atlantean people probably are a little bit, because like that's the whole thing. That's why he's bulletproof, is because his skin, they're so used to the pressures of the deep. So like I can accept the fact that the people who are Atlantean who lived in the water,
and if that's the premise, that they're used to the pressures of the deep, again, explain to me Randall Park,
that's fair.
human man running around in Necros.
Speaking of the pressures, when Black Manta is in that like submarine and Mira pulls the doors off and the thing like goes whoosh, and I was like, well, that's of all the things you're going to take out, maybe the one that's at a topical event. They know this is the last movie. This is it, right?
Like this whole movie, I was about to ask, have you ever been working in a place that where everyone know it was about to go out of business? But of course you have, Joe.
Blockbuster, baby.
Blockbuster. And I'm like, this whole movie reeks of people just like, well, this place is going out of business.
Right.
I don't
Right,
have to
right.
really do the job.
No.
What are
But
they going
also-
to do?
They even filmed it 3 years ago, though.
But also-
it's not even like it was filmed this year. I mean,
Start killing people. Like they put Mira out of commission. They'll kill her.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I don't
They take
understand.
his dad. They put him out of commission, but they're like, no, he's fine. He'll
they
be all
mortally
right.
wounded, but they put him in a Bacta tank. I don't know.
Dumbest line of the whole movie. With
Oh,
that's saying
there's
something.
a whole
I am
award show
I
that
am
we could.
Aquaman.
Okay.
Oh,
boy, that's
see?
that's pretty bad. That is pretty bad. When Manta says, "I am going to burn your kingdom to ash," and I'm like,
Underwater.
They're underwater.
And underwater? You know you're talking to Aquaman right now, right? You know this movie is underwater.
Yeah, right, right.
But you're going to burn it to ash?
It's a metaphor, Tom. You just don't get
But
it.
also the clip that I saw going around was like, you took your brother's kingdom and his woman. Shame on you, Aquaman.
Yeah.
And I was like, am I watching the 66 cartoon? Like
Yeah.
what? Also, were Orm and Mira together?
I think they're betrothed.
Did I? Oh,
Is she the
okay.
daughter of
Yeah.
Drago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
The red hair. That's how you know.
That's exactly
Yeah.
I thought she was Ariel.
No.
Okay.
Well,
But-
this movie wants to be Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean, so
It's also the score is so wonky. Like I kind of liked it when it would do like a
I like. You
synth
think
wave.
that was bad? Last week the score was Wonka.
Oh hey, I like that. But like at some points they were doing like synth wave, and I was like, okay, like I can get behind that. But then
Because of the waves.
that's right,
It's Aquaman.
woo. But then they would switch to like the weird like goofy comedy, like something that would be in like the Apple Dumpling Gang.
because
and I was just like,
tonally,
what
Hey,
is-
you don't besmirch
I'm-
the Apple.
I would,
Dumpling.
would
watch
never.
that before I watch this.
Well,
that's
yeah.
for sure.
The scene with the ladder. That's comedy gold, man. That's a great Tom trivia.
Yeah.
First movie I ever saw in the theaters.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm that-
On first run.
I'm that old.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
first go around, not like a re-release.
Yeah, I think so.
I just couldn't believe how bad this movie is. And what does this have? A $250 million budget?
Something like that. Yeah.
It starts off from the beginning when he's trying to do his little recap thing. Like all of a sudden, oh, we had a baby.
Right.
And then you don't see Mira for any scene until one little scene where she's holding the baby in the corner of a room for a second. But they're like, we had a baby. And then it looks like he's a single dad. So I'm waiting for him to say, oh, and Mira.
Right.
And Mira,
went back to her
her
home planet.
Yeah. It's exactly what it looked like it's doing. And then they show her in the corner like 10 minutes in, and you're like, wait, but no dialogue, just standing there.
Right.
Yeah, I
looking
think
at
she
them.
has like 2 pages of dialogue.
And then
tops.
he's like, this is so hard because I go to Atlantis and I have to sit on the console and do all this stuff, and then I come back to the surface dweller, and I'm thinking like, the king of Atlantis can just go live in some shack
he
somewhere.
also has a line to your
like-
point to your what you're saying about Amber Heard is like he has a moment with his dad where they're again toasting Guinness, and he said, you know,
Did you see that foam? See all that
I
foam?
did see that film, and he said, you know, they toast to like single dads, and I was like, but you're not a single dad,
Yeah.
like you have a partner.
And
All right.
and also, does anyone remember that at the end of the first movie, Nicole Kidman and Boba Fett were reunited. And
Yes.
so, but then Nicole Kidman doesn't show up for an hour into this movie. Where's they're back together? They're romantic.
No,
like,
she said, I can't do this. Look at you living.
Well, she wouldn't show up because she comes to this place for magic, and this movie had none of it.
fair enough.
My AMC showing didn't have that this time.
They're supposed to make a new
Oh,
one.
and
really?
I'm not complaining.
Oh,
But at first I was like, oh, is it over? Is our long national nightmare over?
they're gonna play it.
I'll
after
never
the
get
movie.
commercials for the place you're at.
What?
I'll just commercials for the place you're at.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm-
I'll
you got
never,
me.
Yeah.
I'll never understand
Yeah.
that.
I'm already
in a million
here.
years. I get Greg Marcus coming on and going, "Thanks for coming to the theater. Enjoy the movie." That's fine. But commercials,
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
I can understand, like, hey, book your your work event,
Or let's all go to
here.
the lobby or
Yeah.
whatever. Okay. Oh
Right.
yeah, I got to get that Coke. That does sound good. But 2 minutes of we come to AMC for magic.
Yeah,
Dude,
I know.
we're-
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm about to leave.
You got me.
Give me this 2 minutes back.
Yeah,
It's already 26
20
minutes
yeah.
before the movie
Oh.
starts.
It is, as garbage as this movie is, it is interesting to look at the upcoming slate for DC, and I don't think they have anything.
What's the upcoming?
That's my point.
It's blank, right?
It is blank.
It's Superman Legacy.
They've got Superman Legacy in 2025.
Yeah.
And they've got Creature Commandos at the end of 2024.
They need to make us want to see these
That's what
superheroes again.
I'm saying,
we
like, they
have
need
to
to
get
s-
excited because I tweeted about this. These movies are so far away from feeling event movies. Remember when I remember going to the midnight show of Spider-Man 2.
Sure.
And waiting in line from
Which one?
well, the real Spider-Man 2, the one that's called Spider-Man 2. Waiting in line at like 8 or 9 to get a good seat for the midnight show. There were no reserved seats.
Word.
Getting excited, being hyped
I'm
about it.
53. You don't have to remind me about
Even
it.
I mean, even with the phase 1 or phase
Well,
up
sure.
to phase 3.
But we used to get excited, and I know that we're oversaturated and all that, but we're so far removed from that. I mean, I went to a 4 p.m. showing, which, okay, I get it. Like, a lot of people go in the evening, I'm sure. But still, it's winter break, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, and there's 3 other people in the theater. The theater seems dead. Like Barbie, Oppenheimer, the whole Barbenheimer thing, Taylor Swift movie. Like, we've had so many big movies that have become events.
Event movies, yeah.
And now we have Aquaman 2, the sequel to the only billion-dollar DC movie, and it's like a ghost town. I saw a tumbleweed go
I think
across the
I think there
concession stand.
were 7 people at 6:45.
I mean, this franchise is dead when it's
Yeah.
just no one
It-
shows
it-
up for it anymore.
When DC, the comic books, when they relaunched with the new 52, and every issue went like 52, every series went 52 issues. When they were getting to the end, it's felt very much the same, where they were just limping to get those last couple issues out because they knew the reboot was coming and it was going to be a whole new thing. And this feels just like that, where they're like, can we just wrap this up? Like, and agreed, like Patrick Wilson is great in this movie. Like, to me, he's the MVP.
I mean, he's always good. We know Patrick Wilson's always good, but
Thanks for the $4 million, James Wan.
Yeah, all right,
but
right.
I know those guys. Yeah, but it's like he's the only one doing anything halfway interesting in this entire movie.
For sure.
He's fun. It's fun to watch him and see what he's up to. He's actually doing something. And then the rest of the movie was a snooze. I mean, I have to go back to Black Manta. They bring him back. I have no problem with the character of Black Manta, his motivations. I
You
think
just don't like that he's black.
Yeah.
it's like the Black Ranger. Like, come on, it's a little too on the nose, guys. But I mean, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is an incredible actor. I
Yeah.
love him in anything he shows up in. I was happy to see him back, and then I saw what the script was, and it's like, what a waste
Again,
to bring this guy back. And
He's got about as much dialogue as Amber Heard.
it's close.
He barely talks. in this
But
movie.
he was in there. I mean, at first when they focus on him and you're trying to figure out, well, okay, what's he up to? He's back doing what? And it's like, wow, that guy can act. He's here doing something. And then and then they put the helmet on him the rest of the time, and he's just voice
that's
acting.
not
I wonder
him.
how much
No,
of that
he's
is,
doing martial arts and stuff.
Well, I
Yeah.
wonder how much of that is reshoots. Like,
Yeah.
is like, well, he's not available. Just throw a helmet on a guy
Yeah.
and he can
right.
read it.
There was a moment where I was like, don't turn this guy into like
Family?
the other hero, like
Family.
Yeah, right. I was like, come on, God dang.
Well, I'll tell you what, thinking of that Fast X Part 1 or whatever that thing's called, I yearned for that Jason Momoa performance. Even though I wasn't crazy about it, when I saw this, I'm just like, I mean, overall, I like Jason Momoa.
I do too.
And I think he can be very good, and he can have fun with things and be
and
goofy. But
I also think
man,
this was miscast from the jump. The Aquaman that I've always known has been it's hard to determine
but
what
this
his
is
character
this is New 52.
This
badass
isn't, though.
Aquaman.
This
though.
isn't the Aquaman. Even in the Jeff Johns run of the
I
new
thought this was more. Wasn't this like? Was it Peter David that wrote
Peter David wrote
the
a lot of
one-armed
it.
Aquaman?
Yes,
like, this is
which I
kinda
was.
That.
I gotta tell you, there's a moment in this movie I was like, all right, cut his
Yeah.
arm off. Like they make a reference
Yeah.
to the Necron bad guy not having an arm.
Oh, Sauron.
Jesus.
I mean, seriously, this movie in the beginning when they go down to the hidden temple or whatever this place is, Necronomicon. What is it called?
Necros?
That's where they find the trident, right? Because
Yes.
the people are frozen.
The Trident of Exposition?
Yes. So
where Patrick Wilson catches it, and then we get a 20-minute short film
Yeah.
about the backstory of Necron.
Sauron. It's the opening of Lord of the Rings. So they go down to Necros, and you see all the, pirates from the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie that have all been, cast away and imprisoned and whatever. And so Black Manta takes the trident and puts it together, and he gets his own little exposition thing. And then it's like a flashback to Lord of the Rings, and you see how Sauron becomes, and is trying to rule everyone, and they're in these battles, and he gets imprisoned, and apparently Aquaman's dad cast a magic spell using his blood.
No,
trap
not
them all.
Aquaman's dad. Aquaman's dad is the guy in the lighthouse.
Oh yeah, the Orm's dad.
Yeah.
Or the
Atlan.
Atlan. Yes.
Atlan,
Sorry, not why? Because they're brothers. I always think of him being both
Sure.
their dads. But yes, Atlan sealing it with blood magic and all this, and so we see that, and you're just like, these writers clearly went and they're like, what movies do we like that are cool? Okay, Pirates of the Caribbean, Lord of the Rings. There's so much stuff stolen, and it feels like a carbon copy of a carbon copy. I don't know. I just can't believe how uninteresting this story was.
It's complete. It's everything about this is like it is so boring.
And I wanted to have fun. I went into this movie not trying to hate it. I seriously went, please just have this be a fun action movie. I just want to watch it's the last one. Nothing matters.
I think if anything, this movie being bad, and I'm sure the box office will follow, because I don't feel like anybody knows this is coming out.
It made $4 million Thursday.
That's
on a
crazy.
superhero movie.
Yeah.
The sequel to the biggest one.
And I think I read the last one in its Thursday previews made like $9.5 million.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
half what the first one.
Man, oh man.
And I think honestly, it's kind of a gift to James Gunn.
Oh, for
Because
sure.
it's like if this movie had been great and people were gushing over it, now
they
they're
took
back.
it away,
Now
yeah.
they're back to like, well, what do we do? Like, and I just think that like, just scrap it. There were good moments through it,
Yeah.
but like, I don't think it's worth trying to tie yourself to this turd
Well,
No.
in order to keep the good moments. And I mean the DCEU as a
Yeah.
turd. Like, even though this movie is also a turd, but it's a collection of turds.
It is.
And there are a few that were really good, which disproves the old wives' tale that you can't polish a turd. Shazam, polished turd. Wonder Woman, polished turd. Those were good movies.
They were.
Those were I really enjoyed. I own 3 movies from the DCEU, and they are Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman.
how do you not own the
Suicide
Suicide
Squad?
Squad?
I don't think it's been on sale.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So I'm
Because
not-
that's good.
I'm not paying $20.
That's
or
fair.
$15
That's fair.
for it.
It's a good movie.
When it's 5, I'll cave. But
Okay.
until it's 5, hard pass.
That was a fun movie, man.
It was. To
watch coming off of.
But I will
Suicide
also say
Squad.
it felt like it was completely untethered from everything else that went on
Sure.
in that universe.
Yes.
for better or for worse,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The
Like, I mean-
baggage was gone.
I think it was a better movie because of it, but it was also kind of like, but this doesn't feel like it can live
The
in that
on-
same
the
world
only-
in any way.
Well, the only connecting tissue is Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
And that's
Well, Harley Quinn,
that's true. Yeah, that's
but
right.
but a
that's right.
completely different Harley Quinn.
very very different Harley
Yeah,
Quinn.
a better one. I mean, that's the Harley Quinn we want to see.
Well, and then I guess the Justice League shows up in Peacemaker, but that's literally just
The Justice League shows up in Peacemaker
at the very end. It's
Oh, I
but
don't-
it's
don't
like
even
but it's
remember.
Batman's in silhouette, Wonder Woman's in silhouette.
Oh, they did that thing,
But
okay.
it is Jason Momoa
But-
and Ezra Miller as Aquaman and the Flash.
Right, because they had a big movie to promote.
Yeah.
So, because the other thing was that I'm sure this movie had the Flash in it. I'm sure there were little cameos.
Well, we said earlier
It
that,
is
right.
It was nice. I will say it was nice to have one of these where
Nobody showed up.
you didn't have to deal with
Or
all the
Gal
other
Gadot
cameos.
didn't show
Yeah.
up.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
where
like-
was she?
I was like, is it even a DCEU movie if Wonder Woman doesn't show up for a 35-second cameo that
Right,
was
right.
filmed on a different continent?
But that's what I'm saying is like I think a year break, and we're gonna get news because I think Superman starts filming in March is the rumor. So we're gonna get the suit. We're gonna get shots of him in this. We're gonna see stuff, but we're not gonna
And
have.
we're also
any...
going to hear how the Snyder fans aren't excited about it. Oh,
Fine, go watch Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
I know.
It's ready for you. The fact that
it's
they
not
are,
ready for you. It's half a
I-
movie,
the-
and not the director's cut.
which is hilarious,
Right?
Like
It's not
such,
ready. Go watch this movie that we have a better cut of.
It's so funny that Netflix is like, how can we garner good press about this? I know. We'll do the thing that the Snyder fans did, and we'll just release this.
Not
and
even
then,
good press. It's like how can we astroturf a
Yeah.
viral marketing campaign?
But how weird is it? Every director's cut that we know of came out after a movie flopped. You don't
Yeah.
get a director's cut because the movie was great. You get
Right.
a cut because they go, oh, but wait, we
got something.
The director has a real vision here. This movie, Netflix gives Zack Snyder the bag and says, they won't hire you. They won't let you make your Star Wars movie. Come on over.
Right.
Do what you want. Hey, let's not release this guy's vision. Let's release
Yeah.
our cut, and then we'll have a Snyder cut of it. Like, what on earth?
yeah, it is.
What is the
it's-
impetus for this?
It's
There's
definitely a choice.
no theatrical run where it's like, oh, we can't show a 4-hour movie. Like,
No,
it's
right.
Netflix. Put both on there. I mean, obviously, the only reason is to hang that over their head. Hey, wait,
Snyder
just
Cut's
watch
coming.
it again. It's
Snyder Cut's coming.
It's so stupid. Like, I have no interest. I probably won't watch it at least until the thing's finished. Or there's like, I don't want to watch half.
It's
movie.
whatever. It's a movie. Like it's about as derivative of Star Wars as you're gonna get. And I know that it was supposed to be
Yeah,
his Star
it's a
Wars
Star Wars movie. Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like,
Can you see
boy.
why they didn't greenlight it?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can. I will say the standout of that movie is the robot, like the droid that is voiced by Hannibal Lecter,
Anthony
Which-
Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
He has an Anthony Hopkins droid in the movie. Oh
and
my
the droid
God.
looks great. Like it visually, it moved. The CG is really good on
Yeah.
the droid.
Wait, now-
I don't know that anyone, even snobby film critics, have ever complained about how a Zack Snyder movie
That's true.
looks.
Right.
That's true. That's true. I watched it on an iPad, so that's about how much I cared about that movie. I was like, I guess I should.
Now,
check it
is
out.
this Anthony Hopkins from Transformers: The Last Night?
No,
Remember how wackadoo that?
no.
that was.
He's very much Anthony Hopkins. Like he's not
Okay.
doing much of a choice.
Man.
Nothing really changed.
I'll never tell you if there's one thing I can remember, and it's not much from that movie. It is whatever he was doing in that movie was just
Yeah.
insane.
I don't think I've seen that one.
You never saw The Last
No,
Night?
I don't think so.
Oh, Anthony Hopkins is doing the most bizarre thing in that movie. He's like an eccentric old loony, I don't know, person that's holed up in a Scottish castle or something, and he's nuts. He's just crazy. Like the stuff he's doing. It's like I don't know. He's got like a Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura sensibility about him. Like he's just wacky.
It's almost like when he was in the Wolfman. The Wolfman, he's also doing like some
doing some weird stuff.
weird stuff.
His social media, if you follow him, I mean, it's fun. Like he's weird, man. Anthony Hopkins,
He's a
just
strange dude. He's a
strange dude.
dude.
Great actor. Strange dude.
Just to burn through this real quick, like we pick up where we left off.
Oh no, we're at he found the trident.
Oh, that's right. He
There's a
found the
bad
black
guy.
trident, which made him like somewhat possessed. Which I almost feel bad for the actor because this is kind of the same thing he did in Candyman. Like it's kind of the same.
I kept thinking how good Candyman was.
and Candyman's really good, but it's kind of the
but
same
this
premise.
is the Ring. He's possessed by the Ring. This
Yeah.
is straight up Lord of the Rings.
Right. And yes,
Yeah.
so he's attempting.
Sauron looks like a creepy, like he's got the thing. His head looks like the
Oh,
helmet.
yeah, that's true. It
It's
does,
all
doesn't it?
demonic. He's sitting on a throne. He's possessed. Like it's.
So he's the Black Manta is stealing unobtainium. I don't know what else to call it. Like it's like the
Oracle come.
Or come.
Yeah. The whole time I'm like, how did they say that with a straight face?
Yeah.
And how many times did they say it? It must have been a game to where like,
Yeah.
can you say this without breaking?
Can you say what was the
They called
Super
it
Troopers?
Oracle come.
Yeah, it was definitely a choice to say that a lot, a lot. They're like the Oracle come.
They just kept
mines,
saying
and
it.
it's
They
like-
just kept saying, "Oh, Orca come, Orca come." It was weird.
basically it's this ancient power source that was poisoning the land and the water. I
Yes.
do also find it hilarious that they killed off the Green Goblin.
Which one?
There's only one Green Goblin.
Oh, Willem Dafoe.
Willem
Oh,
Dafoe.
Willem-
They kill off Willem Dafoe with a line of dialogue. They're like, "It got your mentor. That's bad." And I was like, "Well, that takes."
Oh,
Willem
is that what happened? I missed that.
Yeah,
I knew he
says
wasn't
that-
in the movie.
He says
but-
that
Guess
there's
that's a little Jimmy Olsen nod to the Zack Snyder
yeah,
fans.
right.
Still
Yeah,
sticking around.
There's just a line where he's just like, "The plague down here got your mentor," and
Oh, wow.
Aquaman's like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
I couldn't remember if he died in the first one. or
No,
not. I thought he.
no,
just-
he's very much alive in the first
Wow.
one.
That's so weird.
Right.
Okay.
So the
and he was a great part of the first one. I liked him as his
like the
mentor.
training
Yeah.
montages and stuff. Manta is burning the orcs cum to heat up the.
He's basically
the Earth,
deliberately causing
global-
climate change.
which I like. They say that a lot, and I was like, man, if you're trying to make like a climate change
They are.
thing, it's like you are.
You know, Jason
funny 'cause
Momoa is all
this-
about that
This
stuff.
movie's
is he?
gonna come out. It's gonna make money, and then all the incels get to go woke, go broke.
Right. That's so bad. So he's trying to speed up global warming, so that he can melt the polar ice caps, so that
And
the bad guy
free
can
his
be
friends
released
or something?
Well, that's
Yeah.
the Atlan used freeze powers, I guess.
Well, no, he releases them with their blood. Those are two separate things.
yeah, but he
But he had to melt the
but he has
ice to
melt
get
the ice
to
to
him,
get there, right?
doesn't he?
Oh, I'm sure they could build any kind of device. I don't think the ice would have to be melted. I mean, in the beginning of the movie, there's some crazy contraption or octopus thing that's like breaking ice and stuff that attacks
Then
Manta
why
and
are
friends.
they speeding up global warming?
I think they just want to kill the humans or something. I think they just want to destroy the world. That's what I mean. The Black Manta, even being possessed, like his motivation is so slight. I don't know what they're trying to do.
yeah, I guess.
I think they just wanted to
don't know.
destroy the world, but all he has to do is go down there and get his blood. Any descendant of Atlan,
Right.
has
So
the
that
blood.
is Arthur, Aquaman, Orm.
Mira,
the-
I guess, right?
No,
Or no.
or the
Oh
baby.
no, she's
No,
different, yeah.
she shouldn't be if he's married and breeding
Well,
with her.
and-
I don't know how Atlantis
In
works,
Atlantis,
but
I mean, are they
and
the royal
of course,
bloodline?
Magic Fish Baby.
Magic Fish Baby,
Which I
yeah,
have to give credit to
Arthur
my-
Jr.
To my wife for coining the term
That's
Magic
pretty good.
Fish Baby.
But we talked about it briefly in the Peter David stuff. Aquaman does have a son, and he has to make it. He's in the fight with someone. I don't remember who it is, but he has to make a choice. His arm is basically pinned, and there's a scene in this where I was like, they pin him with rocks, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, are we good? Let's do it. Like, why not? What do we got to lose? So in the comics, he has to make a choice. There's two different versions of it. One, he has to cut his own arm off to save his son. There's another where like piranhas eat his hand. Basically, when they rebooted everything, they were like, "Hey, that was a cool thing that we did. We have to find another way to do that."
yeah.
So he has, for a while, it was just like it was a hook with like gauze wrapped around it, and that's what that was for a while. But there was a scene again in this where Aquaman is crushed by rock, and I was like, cut it off. Like, let's do something. I was
Right.
like, oh, we're just gonna bring in Amber Heard, and she's gonna lift it off
But
of him.
so they sideline Mira. They do the thing where she's injured, so she can't be in the movie type of thing.
Yeah.
And in a fight where they're trying to steal the last vial of orc cum,
Yes.
there's a big escape sequence, and Amber Heard and Nicole Kidman an hour into it shows up and is actually in some cool CG scenes. I mean, she's not doing anything, but
Right.
her character's
Her
doing
face
some
is.
ass kicking and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I mean, the CG Nicole Kidman stuff looks so bad, like the way they
Yeah.
put her face on
Yeah.
the CG characters or whatever. But they're chasing him, and during the fight, Manta takes his laser eyes and shoots Mira to like burns her all up. And,
Yeah, and it's like you think that I was like, I mean, the way they filmed that, it's like,
oh,
ooh,
she's dead.
all right,
and why
well,
not?
That makes sense. Why
not?
not?
Yeah.
Why not? It's the last.
And right, James. And here's the thing, is I feel bad for James Wan because he has been saddled more than once with a franchise that should have died. No pun intended. A franchise that should have gone through a windshield.
Well, and this
if
time
you
it did.
will.
Yeah.
There was your Paul Walker joke.
Well, it's been a while.
It has been a while, but he dies. What, 3/4 through filming that movie?
Paul?
Yeah, right, or halfway through.
I think, yeah, they almost finished it.
Okay,
But they had to retro whatever, him riding off into the sunset.
And James Wan has to come in and fix that, right? I mean, he's the director of the movie in general, but he has to make the rest of that movie work, and he does. he gets Aquaman, and it's just like, okay, this is a big, dumb, fun summer action movie, and everybody's on board. Everybody's having a good time. I think of that scene in that opening scene when is it Nicole Kidman fights the Atlantean guards in the house. Does that sound right? That's a great scene.
I don't know about opening scene. Is it opening?
I mean, it's the first time we see her.
Okay,
maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it's opening scene,
but like
yeah.
that whole scene is fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun.
And
Did this movie have any good action sequences?
So I think I thought about the scene when Aquaman and Orm are fighting together, like at the volcano.
Yeah.
I thought that was a solid action set
The
piece.
only action scene I can actually remember that had any discernible action, not a bunch of blurry, like Transformers-esque action of them like chasing each other through the ocean, but there was Manta doing martial arts, which clearly was not Yahya. But you know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, here's fight choreography, but the whole movie, there's hardly anything to look at.
I think you can't really say it left on the cutting room floor anymore, but maybe clipped and deleted. I don't know. Like it's. And
yeah, but why would they get rid of that stuff? I feel like they just didn't. I don't know.
Again, I think it's all of the not editors. I don't want to, but it's them limping to the finish line. They know that this is it. They know that none of these actors are coming back. I think we see Momoa as Lobo. I think it'd be too stupid.
Well, they included his test footage in it.
In what?
In the beginning of this movie. Them riding around on the motorcycle? They're
I
like,
did think
how
that
does this
was
guy
like-
look riding on a motorcycle? Why was that in the movie? Give me
I don't know.
one reason why they cut to without any dialogue when he's just hanging out with his dad, and then they cut to him doing circles on a motorcycle, and then cut away from it.
I don't know.
Because I think they filmed him like, would this guy look cool on a motorcycle?
Yeah.
Let's put that in the movie.
But I mean, like, even if you look at Lobo, like Momoa looks just like him. Just
He does.
Put some makeup on him, and it's
But
the same.
here's the thing: yes, Momoa is famous. Yes, he looks like Lobo.
Yeah.
Does anybody really give a shit about Lobo? No.
No, but did they care about the Guardians, and did they care about the Suicide Squad?
But I mean, like,
Peacemaker
to go out of your way to like shoehorn Lobo into this world just because Jason Momoa happens to look like him,
right?
Seems like a dumb idea.
But apparently he wanted to play Lobo for a long time, like before he got Aquaman. He likes the character.
You know who would make a great, honestly, is Patrick Wilson.
I was gonna
like,
say I was gonna guess you were gonna say
when
that.
he even in this movie, like I'm like, okay,
long
like
hair
this is
and-
not even the long hair. Like when he cuts his hair short, and I was like, he looks like this guy looks like Aquaman,
like traditional Aquaman.
Yes.
Oh, Aquaman! I thought you said Lobo.
No, Patrick Wilson should have been cast as Arthur Curry.
Oh yeah, well he looks like the traditional
Yes.
Aquaman. Yeah, the short blonde
Momoa
hair.
should have been Lobo from the Jump Street.
Momoa should have been Mara.
That would have been an interesting thing. That would have been
Mara should have been Lobo.
So yeah, it's so crazy to watch this.
Yeah, that's
well, I mean, like
that's
it's
about it.
10 years. Like this franchise has been with us since the inception of Real Spoilers, and
it will outlive the
will-
DCEU. We make even less money than them, and we're still going.
No joke.
And by even less, we mean infinitely less.
Infinitely less. Yeah. Can you make negative less?
Well, yes, you can, Joe. Yes, you can. The Atlanteans get their power from water, correct?
The Atlanteans, it's not really a power,
But they don't do well out of water. And
They
Patrick
shouldn't.
Wilson is trapped in a desert prison, right?
Yes,
So he
they're
has
giving him just enough water to survive.
Okay. And so Aquaman goes with a weird octopus sidekick that does
cephalopod.
really does nothing in the movie.
It was
Like,
so
Yeah.
it's not even that humorous. Like he squeezes between a couple rocks because he has to get somewhere. I guess they give him his little Deus Ex octopus.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, he's at the jail. We don't know how he got through the desert with his limited supply of water or whatever. He just shows up at the jail, gets in there. This prison is supposed to be this inescapable, like they've trapped him into this prison because these guys are awesome. And Aquaman kind of just like goofs his way through it, right? Like
well,
he's just kind of.
He does have the camouflage suit. The camouflage suit, mind you, that doesn't cover his face, but camouflages his face.
I guess it's just that
What?
ancient Atlantean technology.
Nope, that's not how that works at all. I mean, I guess you can say
Well,
it works however you want it to work.
Yeah,
but-
this is comic book science.
Yeah,
so
right,
If he has a camouflage suit you know,
Yeah,
turn
it's
invisible.
the invisible jet.
Wouldn't that be weird if his head was just
That's what I'm
floating
saying.
around?
That's why it was weird. I mean, it wouldn't be any weirder than anything else we've seen.
God, with as many problems I had this with the movie, I never said the camouflage suit doesn't take his head
That's
away.
the first thing I thought. I was like, what doesn't go up over his head?
But
How does that
it just seems so ridiculous that he goes through the desert. You know, we see how bad they do without water. Somehow Aquaman gets there. It doesn't seem to be a big problem.
Well, it's not a big problem. Oh, to get into the prison.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
to get through the desert, he just shows up there. He's on land. He can't swim there, and like I don't know. But he gets there. He gets the guy out, no problem. Even though this horrible prison, takes the guys out like just tripping and falling over himself. It's a joke. Like, okay, and this is the other thing I don't get. I hate this with superhero movies in general, but I think this one's really bad. How powerful is Aquaman? Sometimes he punches people and he's not powerful.
Yeah.
Sometimes he punches you through a brick wall across the room.
He's not. Let's see if I remember this. He is bulletproof, but that's only because of the pressures of the ocean, right? That's part of the deal. He is strong, but like not as strong as Superman.
But he stops a runaway underwater sea train type thing, right? Like he's strong. He can put a trident in the ground and he can stop this thing. Like he's super strong. Someone with that strength, I think, should be able to punch a desert guard in the face and their head flies across the desert.
He's got to pull his punch.
But he just punches them and it's like not a big deal. And they punch him and he's hurt. But then other times he can do amazing things and take people out and knock them out without.
I think that's always the issue with Superman, right? When you see him on screen, actually, more or less in like video games,
right?
Like it's really hard to.
He's so powerful.
Right,
How
right.
do you show him getting hurt?
Exactly,
or not just flicking someone and their head flies off.
Well, which is one of the things that I've always liked about the animated series is they depower him. So like he is the strongest being on Earth, but he can be hurt, right? And he can, when he's fighting like Doomsday or Darkseid, like he will take damage, but he can also, do bad, if he wanted to not pull his punch, he would put a hole through somebody's face,
I just, in this movie, I could not get a gauge on how strong Aquaman was because sometimes he gets his ass kicked. Sometimes he when it's convenient for the story, he's able to take out who he needs to take out or the bad guys. Like I would think Aquaman, given the strength they've shown, could come into this prison and just tear him up. He's Aquaman.
Well, he can't, remember? Like he's going to break out his brother who has turned himself over as like penance for for his crimes against Atlanteans, I guess. Atlantity. So he can't, like Aquaman can't be seen breaking his brother out of prison because it would cause,
because he would lose this job he doesn't want.
Correct.
But wait
which
a minute.
he keeps fighting for.
But there's no way, right? Because these guys all saw who it is and it's Aquaman. Like there's no way that he does this and everyone's like, how'd he get out?
Well, that's the thing. He wears the camouflage is on sometimes,
and then he turns it off and kicks their asses. And apparently, he's not killing anyone.
Well, they said it only lasts for like a minute.
Oh, is that what they said?
Yeah.
Okay.
But when he but he does show up, and I didn't see him kill every single person. I'm just saying it to me. I don't understand. That's why the story doesn't make sense. Like, we have to break him out and no one can know about this. But then he shows up and clearly is seen. And what about all the people that chased him off?
Right.
Then but again, like he's kicking their ass and he's stumbling over himself. And then like an army of 15 of them are riding towards him. And he's like,
gotta go.
We gotta go. And it's so funny. And it's like, well, those guys know it's Aquaman.
Right.
So the treaty's broken.
I did like the scene. So it is funny that we've back-to-back DC movies where we have one of our heroes has been like depowered and is very, very skinny and gaunt, and then they get exposed to the thing that gives them their powers, and they they're back.
That was good CG.
I thought he looked good. I thought that CG on the body. I was like, okay, like right on. But I also like the scene where he's laying in the water. The waves crash over him, and then he's gone.
Yeah,
and then he pops out of the water, and I was like, oh, that was
you just like
dope.
seeing Patrick Wilson all ripped.
Hey man, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I know my wife was
jacked.
like, was that CGI?
Yeah, which one
so.
is the CGI? Cause, at first when he was skinny, I'm like, man, he got really skinny for this role.
I'm like, there's no way he committed to this role.
and he's gonna, but he's gonna be in a suit for muscles or something. I didn't know if it was
he
like
looked
makeup
jacked
and stuff.
I mean,
but then clearly he worked out because he made sure to put in his contract, I'm working out for this.
You know
movie.
who I don't think worked out?
Jason
Momoa.
Because I pointed that out to my wife. I'm like, you will notice.
Not once.
You saw Patrick Wilson without a shirt on, but you did not see Jason Momoa without.
Sure
and when
didn't.
they cut to like the flashbacks from the first movie, like he looks like he's put on like 40 pounds and not of muscle.
Well,
He's a big guy, and I mean, obviously, he's still in tremendous shape.
Oh, yeah,
for
he
a
can-
human being.
yes.
but you can tell like he's gained weight.
that
He
scene,
does not stay.
that scene when he walks out of the water for the first in the
Yeah.
first Aquaman, and he is like shredded.
Yeah.
And then in this one, you're like,
yeah.
oh, you didn't have.
Yeah.
Was there no budget?
But
for a
again,
shrink?
to
from
preface,
shredded cheese to Parmesan.
to grilled cheese.
he's still Jason Momoa, and
Yeah.
we would all be happy to look
Yes.
like Jason
Yes,
Momoa on a
absolutely.
bad day.
Without question.
But you're right, he's not in that shape. That takes a tremendous amount of work.
It
That's why
does.
Affleck was like, man, I can't keep doing this stuff.
Which is understandable. Cavill's like, I got it. What do you want me to put on 60 more pounds of muscle? Done.
Done and done.
No problem. But that's
He's British. He probably said done and dusted.
yeah. He said, no problem, mate. I can do it.
Is he a chimney sweep?
Yeah. Isn't that how they all sound over there? Sorry for our British listeners. They beat the bad guy. The Orm. You think that again, Patrick Wilson has some very good moments where you think that he's going to turn on Dolph Lundgren. Like he has like a little, Dolph Lundgren's like, screw you, buddy. Like,
That's another thing. All the places where they were stealing the orc come from, they were also not underwater.
nope.
Like,
Oh,
No.
really?
yeah.
Well,
they
I mean,
hit him
I think
all
they were
over,
supposed to
but
be underwater.
they're
but it
supposed to
didn't-
be underwater, but when you actually see the actors there, they're not underwater.
No, they just CGI their hair to make it look like
They,
they
no,
were.
no, I mean,
Oh.
like they're not. Like you see Randall Park there without anything.
Oh, that's
on.
true. But they're you're right.
like like I get that they're not really filming these scenes underwater. Like I get it. They CGI the hair. I totally get it.
Right.
But you literally see Randall Park there without any scuba equipment on. So-
Randall Park's like, can I go back to Marvel?
Oh, I know.
Come on.
I will tell you what. If you cut every Randall Park scene out of this movie, it would have zero impact.
Nope, none
I mean-
whatsoever.
I mean, yeah, I know he does a little MacGuffin-y, like,
He gives instead of giving man to the baby, he gives him a bomb.
yeah, like,
Also,
I mean,
putting the baby in the bag was.
I
Kinda
was
one of my
really
fa-
for a second because I'm like, look, this franchise is done. I was really hoping that, like, how great would it have been
They
if
killed the baby.
well, okay, yeah, if they had eaten the baby. That one's for Brad.
Look at
Hine.
that. Yeah, well done. Well done.
If Randall Park had killed Manta, like
That
if
would've been
like if he
crazy.
tricked him with here's the baby, it's a bomb. There, I took care of it
Done.
for you guys.
Yeah.
Like that would have been amazing. Like
That's so
no,
good.
Kudos.
no
I
final
would've-
big battle with the
Yeah,
with
right,
the
right.
boss. Like just like
yeah, just turn
just
it.
random henchman. Here you go.
Yeah, and then
Boom.
turn the bad guy into Patrick Wilson being possessed, and Aquaman has to beat him, right?
Yeah, I would not live like that. It's just when they.
Well, I mean, they kind of do it.
They do.
I'm saying, like, they didn't need Manta. Like, just
But
have them fight and then overcome it.
The end of this movie is the end of Guardians 1, where all of the Guardians are holding the purple stone, whatever that one was, the power stone, right?
Mhm.
And it's this big CG swirling thing. It's the same thing in this, where Momoa and Patrick Wilson are holding the dark saber, whatever the fuck it is, and they're both having
The
like
trident of exposition.
Thank you. Yeah. But it's like this big green and black swirly storm underwater, which again makes no sense. And they break it and they win. It's the same thing as Guardians of the Galaxy.
But you forgot about the whole Pirates of the Aquarium fight. I mean, between the forces of.
Oh,
I mean, the whole thing is like filmed in the dark on the ship. When
Also,
they're all...
John Rhys Davies is in this movie. He's the
Yes.
voice of the crab.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of the movie, whatever that guy is doing, that's my hero. I thought he was great.
That's John Rhys Davies.
He's hilarious.
Do you know Martin Short was not
Yeah.
Jabba?
Yes,
Yes.
because I could tell the voice.
Okay.
As soon as he's talked, I was like, oh, it's
I was like, oh, it's Jiminy Glick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
that's funny. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that too, because when he came on screen, I'm like, I didn't know Martin Short was in this movie. That's funny.
Yes.
The lobster guy, I thought he was funny. That was one of the only funny parts I thought that was genuinely
The
funny.
eye
was
rolling.
him and his arm.
I did
getting
like
cut
when Randall Park was like, comes in with the gun and has him dead to rights, and then
Yes.
as soon as the door closes, he's like, "No, dude, I'm totally
Yeah.
on your side."
I just had to make sure that I could get in. You didn't kill me. You didn't kill me before I closed the door. I could
Yeah,
talk.
I do like those when they kind of subvert expectations of the tropes, and it's like, well, there would be a person that would be kind of like Weasley, or going, I don't
Well, it's
want to work
also-
for this guy.
Yeah,
And,
he's also when he sees him talking to himself in the mirror, he's like, "Nah, I've made a mistake."
Well, also, but then Manta does that thing in the movies where it's like, kill the guy. You have no trouble killing people.
Yeah.
The guy, like,
you don't need him.
every other person that gets in your way or tries to foil your plan or finds the secret of your being possessed or whatever, it's like you kill them. But then he's like, I better not catch you again. Every time I show this knife, it draws blood. You better hope I don't draw it again. Like, no, you just drew it. Kill him.
But
like, what are you doing?
And you already like shoved it into under his chin. Like there's blood on the knife when he's like, yeah.
Which I think was the only out, which is like, well, it drew blood, so technically we're good.
I'm still a tough guy.
But it's like, dude, kill him. You are an evil
But
bad
he
guy
also-
killing people freely.
He kept Randall Park around because he needed his help for something. I don't know what
Did
it was.
he really?
But he
I
no,
mean,
he did. He needed him for something, and then they got the.
They already,
they got it, and then it was just like, well, I don't need. you
He
anymore.
needed his help finding the Oracle come.
and he got
And
it.
they did, and then he got this thing that gave him these powers and all that. Like, I don't think he really needed Randall Park, you know.
Yeah, this is a mess. I am like DC was my stuff. Like DC was always the brand that I kind of
Same as from reading comic
Comic-wise,
books.
yes.
I always thought the DC books were better. The Marvel books looked better.
Yep.
But the DC books were written better.
yeah.
And the DC movies were better for a long time before
Well,
the MCU. I
Oh,
mean,
before
DC
the MCU.
I was like, well,
No,
basically the Christopher Nolan Batman movies
and the
were
Christopher
better.
Reeves
Yeah,
Superman
and the
1.
Michael Keaton Batman movie, obviously.
Okay,
took
yeah.
I mean, DC had the movies. Marvel couldn't crack it, and then the
Yeah.
MCU happened, and it's like DC had the better comics, they had the better movies, and then MCU happens, and then this thing kicks off to catch up.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it just was from the start, never had a chance.
Never had I mean, it did have a chance.
They didn't.
but they
yeah, but
didn't,
not with their strategy. I
Not
mean, they
with their
never
strategy.
they never gave it time to simmer, to build what
correct.
the
We got
MCU
to
did.
get to the Justice League now.
And it's
But
been a
yeah,
10-year
don't, man.
race to the bottom for them.
And they did. They
They
did
finally made it.
They made it.
They- yeah,
Congratulations.
Well done.
I can't believe how boring this movie was. Like, again, I saw a 4:00 show and I was struggling to stay awake through it. I mean, the whole Randall Park thing, again, I think was useless. I cannot believe how much screen time they gave to him and Manta. Like, that is just it just dragged on.
Yeah.
These slow moments where I don't even think there was a score. They were just like, and you're supposed to feel like sympathetic for Randall Park or something. Like, they followed him around like you were
Almost-
supposed
he
to
was
really
in-
be like, I
Yeah.
hope this guy
He's
makes
in
it.
one. He's in part
In a
one.
quick, yeah.
Yeah,
this is a
but
quick-
he's like he was. But yes, the fact that they expanded his role to sidekick for whatever
right.
reason.
And like, I could not have cared less. I like him as a person.
I like.
but
He's been in lots of things where I thought he was a highlight, but
Yeah.
he was
not it.
he was
this
good
is-
in
yeah.
WandaVision.
Yeah.
like
He was good in Ant-Man.
Yeah, he's good. He was good in The Office.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
I mean, he's good, right? We all like. He was good. But he had his own show, right? What was his?
Oh, I don't know.
Was he on the
sit-
Fresh Off the Boat
yeah,
one?
yeah. So like,
He was also in Blockbuster.
oh well, that
Oh,
was.
was he?
I watched the first episode of that. Good lord, did you try to watch
No,
that
hell
Netflix
no.
blockbuster show?
No.
Oh, that's a bad show.
No.
That's a bad.
No. Why would I
bad-
want to bring up bad memories?
Well,
Maybe it's good memories.
Maybe. I
Yeah.
guess that's true. I guess it
Oh,
could be.
but man, that
Do
talk.
you wish you were still working at a Blockbuster?
there are times. Life was simpler then.
But man, yeah, that
Till
show.
payday.
the-
Yeah, that's true.
Talk about a show that thinks it's trying to be funny.
Oh,
Every
really?
line, every
That's gross.
oh, it's bad. But yeah, this is just
I'm glad it's over. I'm glad.
Worthless.
I'm glad that we're gonna get a year break from anything. Like again, we're gonna get news. I guarantee you, we're probably gonna get a Batman casting.
what's with the baby having powers? I get it. That's fine if you want to. If you're
Well-
going to show us Chekhov's baby powers, have the baby do something to save the day with the powers.
Well,
Didn't
he
it
did
bring
at the
the-
end. He brings in he's who brings in the whales that attacks the.
No, I think Aquaman does that.
No, I thought the baby did that. The baby does something.
Did the baby do? Yeah, I,
I
didn't
thought the
think he brought
no, I
in
thought the baby brought in the whales,
No, they were looking for the Oracle come.
and then the whales used sonar, which then made the ship explode.
It
Oh.
used the sonic powers of a whale, which from
Yeah.
what I've been told, isn't how that works.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
I
then,
just thought-
and then one of the other bad moments from a bad actress when the whales do the sonic power, and she's just like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "You're fighting Aquaman."
Yeah, and this
like,
is
you're fighting Aquaman. Whales are in play. Like you're fighting Aquaman, right? Like if all of a sudden he like shot lasers out of his eyes, I'd be like, where did that?
Like this is again. There's a big break. I guarantee you, we're gonna get casting of Batman or the Green Lantern. Something. There's gonna be news, but we're not gonna have any product on screen. Right?
I would
It's
like to
gonna-
hear nothing about anything else until Superman comes out.
It's
I
not
would-
gonna happen.
Wouldn't it be nice to just have that come out and it just be like, let's see how that does, and not. worry about it.
Yeah, just get it right. And that's the thing is
the
like
machine is exhausting.
I do
isn't it?
appreciate
Yeah.
that it's 2025, so he's got time to get it right.
Yeah.
Right? You can
Take a breath.
Exactly. Take a breath, get your script right, get everything where it needs to be, and then we'll go.
Oh yeah, and then the post credit scene, whatever, or the ending scene. You have to say that throughout the movie, Arthur's like, this is just too hard on the throne, and like we have to let the land know that we exist, or else we can't help each other with the environment and all
God.
that. And so the last scene of the movie is like him giving a speech at the UN or whatever.
What the hell?
And it's so cheesy. Okay, he's standing up there with Lobster Man and all these creatures, and then he's like, hey, Atlantis exists, and all the U.S. general people are like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it's hilarious.
we totally accept this.
that
This is normal.
10 years ago, we've got Superman in handcuffs, and he's just like, hey, man, we don't trust you.
Hey, we have Lobster Guy here, and they're just like,
10 years
this
later,
is
they're like,
beautiful.
you're all right, sea boy.
But
You're
it
okay.
wasn't that weird when he introduces Atlantis, and then all the people are just like, yeah, oh yeah, the U.S. military and stuff. They're never
Yeah,
against weird,
right.
unknown things. This
It's
is
all, and then he's just like, and then he does the I am Iron Man.
well, his scene is fine. Like it's cheesy and dumb that this is happening, but whatever. It
Well,
happens.
and like he's like, coming out of the closet as Aquaman, and I'm like, but
You're wearing the suit.
was the existence of Aquaman a secret at this point? There's been like 2 Justice League movies. Like he's popped up in all these other things. Like the world knows about Aquaman now,
Right,
right?
right,
Like,
right,
it's
right.
not a secret.
God, I totally missed. I didn't realize that's what he was trying to do. That was supposed to be an identity, because I thought his identity was revealed too.
Because I mean, it ends with him like
I'm Aquaman.
screaming, "I am Aquaman!"
But I didn't know that was a reveal. I thought that was a cheesy like.
I thought it was,
making fun
I
of
thought it was
Batman
a,
or something.
I thought it was a riff on Iron Man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is.
yeah,
It's
Wow.
I mean, it's a yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it because I can't really follow what the, which movie
Yeah.
is like, because there's the Justice League Snyder cut.
Oh, sure,
and
sure,
there's
sure.
more stuff there, and like I can't remember if it was revealed, because remember
mean,
in
he's
Justice
fighting
League
with the Justice
originally,
League.
Batman doesn't know, right? Like the Aquaman comes up from the seas or whatever. and
Yeah.
Batman's trying to find him, so clearly no one knew at Justice League. But since then, I figured. I mean, he's been at the end of a couple of these movies, right? Like, I don't know.
It's I'm happy that this is over.
Oh, please, yes.
It's been a long road with just misstep after misstep after
I
misstep.
mean, no one cared this was coming out. Do you know one person? I mean, outside of our little bubble and people that have to review movies, have you talked to one person that was like, "Oh, Aquaman comes out this week"?
I don't talk to people.
Yeah, sure. But most people were like, "Aquaman comes out this week."
I mean, I know people in our nerd world that were like, "Aquaman comes out this week."
It's I mean, it got dumped. I mean, it at the end of the year. I mean, you would think that this would be like a Christmas time movie.
But this isn't a dumping ground for movies.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. So it's like they gave it the slot as if it's a big deal, but then they don't really appear to have done anything to prop it up.
right.
I think it's because by the time all this was set and then The Flash came out, and I gotta say, The Flash is 100 times better than this movie. People like to crap on The Flash. I mean,
I don't know, man.
this
I
movie's
mean, Flash had its
terrible.
problems,
The-
but like overall, I enjoyed
Flash
it.
is an entertaining
I had
movie.
fun watching
there are
it.
more. There are better scenes. Yes.
If
I
it
will
went on
agree
sale
with
for
that.
$5, I'd buy it.
Okay.
I think The Flash is way.
buy The Flash
I mean,
for $5.
problems aside with the actors, talking on a movie standpoint, that movie's fun and entertaining. Like,
If for
there's-
nothing else, for the Michael Keaton stuff.
yeah.
That's fair.
And
And
to think-
the Supergirl stuff. I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
And to think, man, originally the plan was to have Michael Keaton. In the original version of this, he was supposed to be in this movie,
Yep.
and Michael Keaton was supposed to be the connective tissue. And we saw how much ass he kicked in The Flash. Like, the future will never be.
He was the one that was supposed to get out of the car at the end of the Flash. It was supposed to be Michael Keaton, and it's Michael Keaton's voice, is right? Like, isn't that the deal on the phone?
Oh, I don't know.
And then they at the last second, I think they tried to get Bale, and Bale was like, "No, absolutely not."
I just thought it was like I couldn't tell who his voice
And then
was.
obviously it's Clooney.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's
This four-day opening is estimated 29 to 40 million.
come talk to me about how bad the Marvels did.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that, like, you're allowed to like what you like, but
Right.
if you like this but complained about the Marvels,
You got problems.
you're
brother.
not a good person. Like, that's just
You're not a good person.
that's just all there is.
Yeah, the Marvels is the 33rd movie in the MCU. Well, that's insane sounding.
Yeah.
Wow.
The lowest domestic opening weekend, 47 million. And this movie's probably going to do half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if that's not a testament to what the fact that Superman versus I'll go back to this every single time. Superman versus Batman didn't make $1 billion.
Yeah,
That's a problem.
Yeah.
You should be able to get to that without even trying.
Remember we talked about it. We're like, you put Batman and Superman. We said we're like that should be the first $1 billion movie.
Should
Easy.
be.
Right.
You put them together. People have been waiting for this.
Yeah, it does.
Forever.
And don't let them fight. Let them be friends. Like they don't have to fight.
Right.
Surprisingly enough, let them.
They all, the comic books always do that.
I know.
They have a reason for them to fight, so you
know
can
it.
see which one's stronger.
Yeah, you don't know
and-
comic
Superman.
books, Joe.
And
It's
then-
always Superman.
Well, yes, Superman versus a really smart, look, as a middle-aged white guy, I'm a fan of white privilege as much as the next
I bet
racist,
you
but-
are. I bet you are.
But like, there's only so much that's gonna do against Superman.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
so-
gonna melt your face from space.
But that's the fun thing though, is that it's always Batman can always figure out a way. He can't beat him in strength, but he's so smart that he'll always find a way to, kryptonite.
To
He's
screw up a
just
movie.
Yeah.
well, not screw up. He doesn't always screw up a movie. We have a great movie called The Batman from
That's true.
a year ago.
But he doesn't fight Superman in that.
Well, yeah.
And I do like that. I appreciate that James Gunn went to. This is from James Gunn, where he said I think they wanted to bring Matt Reeves' Batman into the DCU, and he asked Reeves, and Reeves was like, "No, thank you."
Okay, I was gonna say I think Reeves
and
said
Reeves-
I'm not doing a franchise
Yeah, he's like,
thing.
I think they
It's-
asked him,
Yeah.
and he was like, "No, thanks."
You want me to make these movies? I'm making Batman movies.
His
and-
Arkham series is in the DCU.
So we're gonna have two simultaneous Batmans, which we
Yes.
already did. But
Yeah, we're gonna.
his
well,
Arkham series.
yeah, that series for HBO. They're gonna do. They're gonna do an
I've
Arkham
lost track.
series.
There's a Penguin series. There's so much
Yeah,
stuff.
the Penguin series can't be because that's not, but the Arkham series can be.
Hmm.
Yeah, because the
Okay.
Batman we're gonna get in the new DCU is
Ugh.
the dad. Like Damian's gonna be in it, and it's gonna be a very different Batman.
Well, I'm ready for a break.
I'm ready-
As much as I love superhero stuff, it's like I am at the point where it's fine.
And I don't
like,
think. I mean,
please.
Marvel doesn't have a lot of stuff coming out in 20. I mean, What If season 2 I think just dropped.
And I think the only movie slated for next year is
Captain America?
is or Deadpool.
Oh, I think Captain America is too.
Is it?
I think so because they filmed it. It's
Yeah.
done. I think.
Wow.
So,
With Harrison Ford taking over as.
Captain America.
Oh my God, that would be insane and awesome. Thunderbolt Ross. Yeah.
So anyway, I guess that's it for this one. Let's go around the table and everyone can say where to find them.
This is Joe. You can follow me on the Twitter at JoeyButts, BUTTS21. Also, if you check out Binge Movies, Jason and I did a 4-episode breakdown of the comparisons between the old school wrestling territories and how they all kind of dissolved and how that factors into current modern day movie studios and how that all works. Also, if you like my shirt, you should go to Basler Screen Printing and pick one up because this is a Krampus shirt just in time for Christmas.
I'm just trying to think.
Except they will hear this after Christmas.
Right.
Well, still, hopefully it's still available by
I
then.
was gonna
Just
say
in time for
New
Martin Luther
Year's.
King Day.
Yeah.
does that screw him up if it's the shirt of the month club, but you order on the 31st and he's
like,
already
"No!"
he's already got the printing shut down. He's ready for January when someone actually goes and orders. Oh man! But you know what? It's Matt Bosler.
That's right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Make him do it. This is Kevin. Follow me on Twitter at Kevin R. Brackett.
And this is Tom. You can follow me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/Real Spoilers. And don't forget our Patreon at patreon.com/Real Spoilers. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, Bessie gives Henry new glasses.
Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, cause we already warned you.